The invoice showed $12,000 for pool maintenance that never happened. I found it buried in a stack of HOA documents on Tuesday morning. The letterhead looked official. The signatures matched our board president's handwriting. But I'd been watching our community pool for 3 months. No maintenance crews. No equipment deliveries. No work orders posted. My name is Ethan White. I'm 34 years old. I work as a quality control inspector for aerospace components in downtown Los Angeles. I've lived in Willow Ridge subdivision in Briarton, California for 6 years. I know every crack in our pool deck, every rust stain on the diving board, every broken tile around the shallow. Nothing had been repaired. The invoice was dated March 15th. Today was June 8th. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through the photos I'd taken during my morning walks. March 16th showed the same chipped concrete steps. March 20th captured the identical algae buildup in the filter housing. April 2nd revealed the unchanged crack pattern in the pool deck's northwest corner. I set the invoice on my kitchen counter. The paper felt expensive. Heavy stock, embossed logo, Aquatic Solutions Professional Services in navy blue lettering. The address listed a P.O. box in Riverside County. The phone number had a 951 area code. I dialed the number. Disconnected. The invoice detailed specific repairs. Pump motor replacement, filter system overhaul, deck resurfacing, chemical balancing equipment installation. Each line item included part numbers and labor hours. The total came to $11,847.50 plus tax. Our HOA dues had increased by $43 per month in April. The board cited essential pool infrastructure improvements in their notice. 216 households paying an extra $516 annually. That's $111,456 in additional revenue. I walked to my front window. Across the street, Kieran Cox was loading tools into his pickup truck. He'd been our neighborhood's unofficial handyman for 8 years. Fixed sprinkler systems. Repaired mailboxes. Painted fence posts. The HOA board hired him for small projects. Residents trusted him with house keys when they traveled. He waved at me. I waved back. The invoice signature belonged to Skylar Cox, our HOA board president. Kieran's wife. She'd held the position for 4 years. Managed the budget. Approved all maintenance contracts. Signed every check over $500. I photographed the invoice with my phone. Then I walked to the community pool. The gate lock showed rust around the keyhole. The same rust I'd documented in February. The pool deck had 3 distinct crack patterns. I'd measured them in January. 22 inches. 14 inches. 8 inches. I measured them again. 22 inches. 14 inches. 8 inches. No changes. No repairs. No maintenance. But someone had been paid $12,000 for work that never happened. The HOA financial records lived in a filing cabinet at City Hall. Public documents. Available during business hours. I drove there Tuesday morning with my camera and notebook. The clerk handed me 3 years of Willow Ridge HOA annual reports. Form 8,871 tax exemption filings. Board meeting minutes. Financial statements. I spread everything across a corner table and started reading. Our HOA collected $847,000 annually in dues. Pool maintenance represented the largest single expense category. Skylar Cox had signed contracts with 4 different companies over 3 years. Aquatic Solutions Professional Services. Neptune Pool Care. Crystal Clear Maintenance. Blue Wave Systems. I wrote down every address and phone number. Neptune Pool Care led to a disconnected voicemail. Crystal Clear Maintenance had no business license on file with Riverside County. Blue Wave Systems listed the same P.O. box as Aquatic Solutions. Different company names. Same location. The invoices followed a pattern. Each company submitted bills between $8,000 and $15,000. Always for emergency repairs. Always approved without competitive bidding. The board meeting minutes showed unanimous approval for every contract. No discussion. No questions. I photographed 47 pages of documents. At home, I called the California Secretary of State Business Registry. Aquatic Solutions Professional Services had been incorporated 18 months ago. The registered agent was listed as K. Cox, with an address on Maple Street. Kieran Cox lived on Maple Street. Neptune Pool Care showed the same registered agent. Same address. Crystal Clear Maintenance and Blue Wave Systems had identical registration information. 4 companies, 1 owner, 1 address. I drove past Kieran's house that afternoon. His driveway held a new Ford F-250 with custom wheels. The truck had dealer plates. Temporary tags dated 3 weeks ago. The window sticker was still attached. $67,890 MSRP. His backyard had changed since winter. I could see over the fence from my upstairs window. A new concrete patio extended 40 feet from his house. Professional stonework. Built-in barbecue island. Outdoor kitchen with granite countertops. Swimming pool with waterfall feature. The construction looked recent. Fresh concrete. Unstained wood. New landscaping. I estimated the project cost at $150,000 minimum. Kieran worked as a handyman. His wife managed our HOA budget. They lived in a 1,800 square foot tract home identical to mine. The median household income in Briarton was $73,000 annually. The math didn't work. I needed more. Wednesday evening, I attended the monthly HOA board meeting. 7 residents showed up. The meeting lasted 22 minutes. Skylar Cox read from prepared notes. No questions allowed. No discussion period. She announced another dues increase. $55 per month, starting in July. Critical infrastructure improvements, she explained. Pool equipment replacement. Deck reconstruction, safety compliance upgrades. I raised my hand. Can we see the maintenance contracts? All financial documents are available at City Hall, Skylar said. Next agenda item. After the meeting, I approached her in the parking lot. The pool looks the same as last year. What repairs were completed? She unlocked her car door. Kieran handles all maintenance scheduling. You should ask him. I'm asking you. You signed the invoices. The board approved necessary repairs. That's all I can tell you. She drove away. Thursday morning, I called Detective Cameron Park at the Briarton Police Department. I'd worked with him on a quality control case 2 years earlier. Manufacturing defects in automotive parts. He understood documentation and chains. I need advice about potential HOA fraud, I said. Financial fraud falls under federal jurisdiction if it crosses state lines, he said. But start with local documentation. Paper trail first. Witnesses second. Physical third. I spent the weekend building my case file. Bank records showed Aquatic Solutions had received $47,000 from our HOA over 18 months. Neptune Pool Care collected $23,000. Crystal Clear Maintenance billed $31,000. Blue Wave Systems invoiced $19,000. Total payments, $120,000. I walked the community pool area with a measuring tape and camera. The equipment shed contained the original pump system installed in 2019, Hayward Super Pump 1.5 HP, model SP2610X15. The serial number matched our HOA's original purchase receipt. No replacement, no upgrades, no repairs. The pool deck showed the same crack patterns I documented in January. I measured them again. 22 inches, 14 inches, 8 inches, no change. The filter housing contained algae buildup from months of neglect. Green stains around the drain plugs, calcium deposits on the pressure gauges. The chemical feeder was empty. Our pool hadn't received professional maintenance in over a year, but someone had collected $120,000 for services never performed. I printed everything. Invoices, bank records, business registrations, photographs, meeting minutes. The filled a 3-inch binder. Monday morning, I called the Federal Fraud Investigation Watchdog Panel. The intake specialist transferred me to Agent Sarah Martinez. HOA financial fraud requires specific documentation, she said. Interstate commerce violations, mail fraud, wire fraud. Do you have federal crimes? The fake companies used P.O. boxes in different counties. They submitted invoices through the mail. The HOA transferred funds electronically. That meets our criteria. Can you prove the services weren't performed? I have photographs, measurements, equipment serial numbers. The pool hasn't been maintained. Send everything to our Sacramento office. Include a detailed timeline. We'll review for prosecution potential. I mailed the package that afternoon. Certified delivery. Return receipt requested. Wednesday evening, Kieran knocked on my front door. He held a clipboard and wore his usual work clothes. Stained jeans. Tool belt. Company logo shirt. Hey Ethan, Skylar asked me to check your sprinkler system. Some neighbors reported water pressure issues. I stepped outside. My sprinklers work fine. Just a quick inspection. Won't take 5 minutes. He walked toward my side yard without permission. I followed him. He knelt beside the main valve and pretended to examine the connections. Everything looks good here, he said, but I noticed you've been asking questions about pool maintenance. I said nothing. The HOA board handles all financial decisions. Residents don't need to worry about vendor selection or contract details. I'm not worried. I'm curious. He stood up and faced me. Curiosity can cause problems in a neighborhood like this. People value privacy. They don't appreciate interference. What kind of problems? Property values, community harmony, neighbor relationships. He picked up his clipboard. Sometimes it's better to trust the people in charge. He walked back to his truck. I watched him drive away. That night, I installed a security camera above my front door. Motion activated. Night vision. Cloud storage backup. Thursday morning brought a certified letter from the HOA board. Notice of violation. Unauthorized security equipment installation. Violation of CC&R. Section 4.7.3. Fine of $150 per day until removal. I'd lived in Willow Ridge for 6 years. I'd never received a violation notice. My property was immaculate. My neighbors had security cameras. The HOA had never enforced equipment restrictions. But now they were targeting me. I photographed the violation notice and added it to my file. Then I called Detective Cameron Park. They're trying to intimidate you, he said. Document everything. Don't remove the camera. File a harassment complaint if it escalates. Friday afternoon, my mailbox was damaged. The post had been loosened. The door hung crooked. Fresh tool marks showed around the mounting bolts. I took photographs and filed a police report. Saturday morning, I found Kieran in his backyard. He was installing outdoor speakers around his new pool. Professional-grade equipment. Bose outdoor speakers. Yamaha amplifier. The installation required electrical work and concrete mounting. I estimated another $8,000 in improvements. Our HOA had paid his fake companies $120,000. He'd spent the money on personal property upgrades. His wife had approved every fraudulent invoice. They'd stolen from 216 households over 18 months. The betrayal was complete, systematic, calculated, and I had proof. Monday morning, I called Detective Cameron Park with my complete package. Bank records, invoices, photographs, video footage, property assessments, financial calculations. This is federal fraud territory, he said. I'm forwarding everything to the Federal Fraud Investigation Watchdog Panel. They'll want to interview you this week. Tuesday, I received a call from Agent Sarah Chen. Federal Fraud Investigation Watchdog Panel. She scheduled a meeting for Thursday afternoon. Downtown Briarton Field Office. I spent Wednesday organizing my documentation. Chronological order. Cross-referenced exhibits. Digital backups on 3 separate drives. Thursday's meeting lasted 4 hours. Agent Chen reviewed every document. She asked detailed questions about HOA procedures, vendor selection processes, payment authorization protocols. Your is comprehensive, she said. We're opening a formal investigation. Don't discuss this with anyone in your neighborhood. Continue normal activities. Document any retaliation attempts. Friday evening, I attended the monthly HOA board meeting. Kieran Cox sat in the front row. His wife, Skylar Cox, chaired the meeting. 15 residents attended. Skylar presented the treasurer's report. Pool maintenance expenses showed $6,800 for September. Routine chemical treatments and equipment repairs. I knew the truth. No legitimate work had been performed. The money had funded Kieran's backyard paradise. During public comment, I stood up. I'd like to request detailed vendor invoices for pool maintenance. Specifically, work performed by Aquatic Solutions and Blue Water Services. Skylar's expression hardened. Vendor information is confidential. Board policy protects contractor privacy. Homeowners have the right to review HOA financial records. California Civil Code Section 5200 requires disclosure within 10 days. We'll consider your request, she said. Next item on the agenda. After the meeting, Kieran approached me in the parking lot. You're making enemies, Ethan. This neighborhood doesn't tolerate troublemakers. I'm protecting my investment. Your investment depends on community stability. Keep pushing, and you'll find yourself very isolated. He walked away. I activated my phone's recording app for future conversations. Saturday morning brought another certified letter. HOA violation notice. Excessive vehicle parking. My work van had been parked in my driveway for 3 years. No previous complaints. I photographed the notice and forwarded it to Agent Chen. Sunday afternoon, I discovered my sprinkler system had been tampered with. 3 zones weren't functioning. The control wires had been cut inside the valve box. Professional work. Clean cuts. No accidental damage. Repair cost, $340. I filed another police report and installed a second security camera covering my side yard. Monday morning, Agent Chen called with an update. We've subpoenaed bank records for both fake companies. The accounts show deposits matching your HOA payment records. We're also investigating similar schemes in 3 other subdivisions. How many people are involved? We're still determining the scope. You're provided the breakthrough we needed. Tuesday evening, I received an unexpected visitor. Skylar Cox stood at my front door. No clipboard. No official business. We need to talk, she said. I invited her inside. She sat on my couch and stared at her hands. I know what you're investigating, she said. I know what you found. Then you know it needs to stop. It's not that simple. Kieran handles all the vendor relationships. I just sign the checks he prepares. You're the treasurer. You're responsible for financial oversight. I trusted him. He's my husband. He said the pool needed extensive repairs. He showed me invoices. I believed him. She looked up. How much trouble am I in? That depends on your cooperation. What do you want? Full financial records, bank statements, vendor contracts, payment authorizations. Everything from the past 2 years. She nodded. I'll get them to you tomorrow. And you need to resign from the board. I can't. If I resign now, it looks suspicious. It looks suspicious because it is suspicious. She left without another word. Wednesday morning, Skylar delivered a box of financial documents to my doorstep. Bank statements, check registers, vendor files, invoice copies. I spent the day reviewing everything. The fraud was worse than I'd calculated. Fake invoices totaled $180,000. Kieran had created 7 different company names. All payments went to the same bank account. I forwarded the news to Agent Chen. Thursday afternoon, federal agents executed search warrants at Kieran's house and business address. They seized computers, financial records, and construction equipment. Kieran was arrested on charges of mail fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit theft. Skylar was arrested as a co-conspirator. Friday morning, the HOA board held an emergency meeting. 3 remaining members voted to suspend all vendor payments, pending a complete financial audit. They also voted to hire an independent accounting firm to review 2 years of financial records. Saturday, I received a call from Kieran's attorney. Settlement offer. Full restitution plus damages. No admission of guilt. Sealed agreement. I declined. This goes to trial. Sunday evening, I organized a neighborhood meeting at the community center. 43 residents attended. I presented my why. Bank records. Fake invoices. Property improvements. Timeline of events. The room erupted in angry voices. People demanded answers. They wanted their money back. They wanted criminal prosecution. "We're filing a civil lawsuit," announced resident Marcus Thompson. "Class action. We're hiring our own attorney." Monday morning, local news crews arrived in Willow Ridge. Channel 7 interviewed residents about the HOA fraud case. I declined to appear on camera, but provided background information. The story aired Tuesday evening. Suburban betrayal. HOA officials steal $180,000 for personal pool project. Wednesday brought reporters from 3 newspapers. The story spread across social media. Willow Ridge became synonymous with HOA corruption. Property values dropped immediately. Thursday, Kieran's attorney called again. New settlement offer. Full restitution. $50,000 in damages. Public apology. "No deal," I said. "He goes to prison." Friday afternoon, Agent Chen called with final updates. Kieran Cox pleaded guilty to federal fraud charges. 18 months in federal prison. Skylar Cox received probation and community service. Full restitution ordered. What about the other subdivisions? 4 more arrests. Total fraud amount exceeds $800,000. Your investigation broke open the entire operation. The trial lasted 3 days. Kieran received 21 months in federal prison. Skylar received 2 years probation and 500 hours of community service. The judge ordered complete restitution plus $75,000 in damages to the HOA. Kieran's house went into foreclosure. His contracting business dissolved. His reputation was destroyed. Justice had been served, but the neighborhood would never recover. 6 months later, I stood in my backyard watching contractors install new pool equipment. The HOA had finally replaced everything with legitimate funds from insurance settlements and recovered assets. The community pool reopened in March. Crystal clear water. New filtration system. Professional maintenance contract with verified credentials. Everything Kieran had promised but never delivered. Property values slowly recovered. New families moved into foreclosed homes. The for sale signs gradually disappeared from Willow Ridge. I received a promotion at Pacific Quality Systems. Senior inspector position. Better salary. Recognition for my attention to detail and investigative skills. My supervisor said my thoroughness had always impressed them. The skills that uncovered Kieran's fraud served me well professionally. Skylar Cox completed her community service at a nonprofit financial literacy center. She taught seniors about avoiding scams. Ironic, but appropriate. She moved to Oregon after probation ended. Kieran served 16 months in federal prison. Early release for good behavior. He relocated to Nevada upon release. His contracting license remained permanently revoked in California. The HOA implemented new financial controls. Dual signatures required for all expenditures over $500. Monthly financial reports distributed to all residents. Independent audits conducted quarterly. Board meetings became transparent. All votes recorded. Minutes published online within 48 hours. Residents could access financial records upon request. I created a hotline for reporting suspected HOA financial abuse. The number connected to a voicemail system that forwarded reports to appropriate authorities. 3 cases were investigated in the first 6 months. Detective Cameron Park visited occasionally to check on community recovery. He said our case had become a training example for financial fraud investigations. "Your documentation made prosecution simple," he told me. "Most fraud cases lack this level of." The Federal Fraud Investigation Watchdog Panel used our case in their annual report. They recommended our new oversight procedures as best practices for HOA governance. Local news followed up on the story anniversary. Property values had returned to pre-fraud levels. Community trust was rebuilding slowly. New residents appreciated the enhanced transparency. I remained on the HOA board as treasurer. Nobody else wanted the position. I implemented digital banking with real-time transaction monitoring. Every expense required supporting documentation. The neighborhood felt different now. More cautious. less trusting. People questioned everything. They demanded proof. They verified claims. Perhaps that was healthier. My morning walks resumed their peaceful routine. No more suspicious glances at construction sites. No more wondering about hidden agendas. No more checking bank statements for unexplained charges. The community center hosted monthly financial literacy workshops. Residents learned to read HOA budgets. They understood reserve fund requirements. They recognized warning signs of financial mismanagement. Knowledge became our best defense against future betrayal. Spring brought new pool parties. Children splashed in clean water. Parents relaxed in properly maintained facilities. The community slowly healed from Kieran's betrayal. But trust, once broken, never fully returns to its original state. I kept all my investigation files in a fireproof safe. Bank records, photographs, audio recordings, timeline documentation. That had brought justice to Willow Ridge. Sometimes I reviewed the materials, not from anger or bitterness, from professional curiosity. How had I missed the early warning signs? What could I have done differently? The answer was always the same. Nothing. Kieran had been too careful, too trusted, too embedded in our community. His betrayal had been perfect until it wasn't. Evening walks took me past his former house. New owners had renovated extensively. Fresh paint, new landscaping, different cars in the driveway. The house looked innocent now. No trace of the corruption that had once lived there. But I remembered. The neighborhood remembered. Willow Ridge would never forget the handyman who stole our trust along with our money. The pool sparkled under summer sunlight. Children laughed. Parents supervised. Life continued. It was finally over, and the silence felt earned.